2025, the year thousands of dreams were paused, and countless families were torn apart by a single government decision. The United Kingdom, once a beacon for education, opportunity, and multicultural unity, has introduced one of the most controversial immigration policies in recent history, the dependent visa ban. This new rule doesn't just change the immigration system. It changes lives. Students who once dreamed of bringing their spouses, skilled workers who supported their loved ones, and families who hoped to reunite under one roof, are now facing the harsh reality of separation. But what really lies behind this shocking move? Why did the UK decide to close its doors on dependents? And what does this mean for the future of global migration? Let's uncover the full truth behind the UK 2025 dependent visa ban, from its origins to its global consequences. What is the UK dependent visa? Before we dive into the new policy, let's understand what the dependent visa actually was. The UK dependent visa allowed spouses, partners, and children of international students or skilled workers to live with them in the UK during their course or employment. For years, this visa was a lifeline for families, ensuring they could stay together while building a future abroad. Dependents could often work part-time, study, or contribute to the local economy, creating a balanced life for thousands of international households. From 2010 to 2023, the UK's open policy helped the country attract global talent. Students from countries like India, Pakistan, Nigeria, Bangladesh, and China made up a large portion of the applicants. But behind the scenes, numbers were rising fast, and by 2024, dependent visa applications had quadrupled in just 2 years. This rapid surge led to growing political pressure, and eventually, the policy that would change everything. The 2025 dependent visa ban explained in January 2025, the UK Home Office officially implemented a nationwide ban on dependents accompanying most international students. Here's what the new law includes. No more dependents for students enrolled in taught postgraduate or lower-level programs. Only students in PhD or research-based programs may still bring their families, under strict financial and housing conditions. Dependents already in the UK may not extend or switch visas under the new category. Work rights for dependents under skilled worker visas have been restricted. New proof of funds and maintenance requirements have been doubled for any exception cases. In short, the rule aims to dramatically reduce the number of family members entering the UK through student and skilled migration routes. The government justified it as a necessary control to protect local housing, services, and jobs. But for those affected, it's not just about policy. It's about broken families, delayed dreams, and emotional pain. Why the ban was introduced, the real motives, visual, Prime Minister speech, political posters, graphs showing immigration data. Officially, the UK government claims the ban is designed to control immigration levels, which reportedly reached over 700,000 arrivals in 2023, the highest in British history. But behind the official language lie deeper motives. Political pressure. With elections approaching, immigration became a hot political issue. The ruling party needed to show that they were tough on migration, especially after Brexit promised tighter borders. Economic strategy. Some officials argued that dependents were adding strain to healthcare, housing, and welfare systems, even though dependents also contribute through taxes and spending. Social narrative. The media in recent years amplified stories about overcrowded cities and struggling services. The government wanted to appear as if it was prioritizing British families first. However, many critics, including university leaders and economists, say the move is short-sighted and emotionally cruel. The UK's global reputation as a welcoming, family-friendly destination is now under threat. Impact on international students, visual, empty university campuses, emotional interviews, luggage being packed. For international students, this policy feels like heartbreak. Previously, they could plan studies and life abroad with their loved ones. Now, many must choose between education and family. Here's what's changing on the ground. Admission decline. Applications from married or mature students have dropped by over 30%, as many decide to go to Canada or Australia instead. Emotional toll. Thousands are studying under stress, separated from partners and children, facing loneliness, anxiety, and financial burden. Financial strain. Students who used to share rent and living costs with spouses now face double the expenses on their own. Shift to other countries. Global competitors like Canada, Ireland, and New Zealand are now seeing increased student interest, marketing themselves as more family-friendly. For many, the UK dream is fading fast. When the UK government announced the dependent visa ban of 2025, most of the attention initially fell on students, but soon, a second wave of shock spread among skilled workers, professionals, and their families. For years, the skilled worker visa was one of the UK's proudest immigration routes. It allowed doctors, nurses, engineers, IT experts, teachers, and other qualified professionals from around the world to work in the UK, often filling labour shortages and strengthening vital public services like the NHS. But the 2025 reforms made dependent sponsorship harder, costlier, and emotionally draining. Let's break it down. Small Blue Diamond 1. Stricter financial requirements. The Home Office raised the minimum income threshold for workers wishing to bring dependents. Earlier, an average skilled worker earning £26,200 could sponsor a spouse and child. Under the new rules, that figure has jumped to £38,700 or higher, a near 50% increase. This means thousands of qualified foreign workers, including nurses, caregivers, and junior engineers, no longer meet the financial bar, even though they work full-time and pay taxes. For many, this change wasn't just a bureaucratic adjustment. It meant the difference between living together and living apart. Small Blue Diamond 2. Visa delays and rejections. The processing time for dependent visas has doubled since 2024. Even those who meet all the financial and legal requirements now face 6 to 9 month waiting periods. And if dependents are overseas, they often receive refusal letters citing vague reasons such as insufficient evidence of relationship stability or lack of maintenance funds. The emotional toll is enormous. Thousands of skilled workers are working 40 to 50-hour weeks in the UK while their children grow up thousands of miles away. Families attend birthdays, school events, and even funerals over video calls. Small Blue Diamond 3. Mental health and retention crisis in sectors like healthcare. This emotional separation is directly hurting performance. A study by UK Migration Observatory, 2025, found that 41% of foreign healthcare staff considering leaving the UK cited family separation stress as a top reason. Doctors and nurses from India, the Philippines, Pakistan, and Nigeria, many of whom kept the NHS running during the pandemic, now feel abandoned. The UK's reputation as a family-friendly work destination has turned into a warning sign for many professionals abroad. Small Blue Diamond 4. Women and family hardships. Another silent victim of this policy. Working mothers. Under the previous rules, spouses often shared childcare responsibilities, allowing both partners to contribute to the UK economy. Now, with dependents barred or delayed, many women, especially in healthcare, are forced to choose between their career and their family. Some have resigned and moved to Canada or Ireland, where policies are more supportive of family life. Small Blue Diamond 5. The human side. Real stories. A nurse from Kerala, India, who moved to the UK to help fill NHS shortages, said in an interview, "I take care of hundreds of patients every week, but I can't even tuck my own child into bed at night." Another Pakistani software developer in Manchester shared, "My son was born while I was on a work visa. He's now 3, and we've never celebrated a birthday together." These are not statistics. They are heartbreaks that define the emotional cost of immigration reform. The dependent visa ban may have reduced numbers on paper, but it's leaving behind an invisible trail of burnout, loneliness, and moral disillusionment among the very workers the UK relies upon. Economic and social implications. The UK government framed the 2025 visa reforms as a step to protect public services and reduce pressure on housing and healthcare. But beneath that official narrative lies a much more complicated and costly picture. Let's look at how this policy is reshaping the economy and society. Small Blue Diamond 1. University and tuition crisis. Dependent visa restrictions for students have already caused a massive drop in international enrollment. For universities that rely on overseas tuition, often 3 to 4 times higher than domestic rates. This means billions of pounds in losses. Smaller universities and regional colleges are facing financial strain. Reports suggest that at least 10 institutions may face downsizing or merger by 2026 if numbers don't recover. This ripple effect extends to local economies. Fewer students mean fewer renters, less spending in shops, and a quieter service industry. Small blue diamond 2. Labour market pressure. The UK currently faces record high vacancies in healthcare, transport, hospitality, and IT, yet immigration restrictions are tightening. By discouraging family migration, the UK has made itself less attractive for long-term professionals. Why would a skilled worker settle in a country that won't let them live with their spouse or child? The result: foreign recruitment agencies are redirecting skilled professionals to Canada, New Zealand, and Ireland. British employers are spending more on recruitment, with no guarantee of retention. This isn't reducing pressure, it's shifting it onto industries already struggling. Small blue diamond 3. Lost tax revenue and spending power. When dependents lived in the UK, they contributed to the economy, paying VAT, rent, and local taxes. Now, that income and consumption are lost. Estimates by London School of Economics suggest that the ban could cost the economy £7 to £10 billion annually in lost indirect contributions by 2026. So, while the government saves on a few public services, it loses much more in economic activity, education income, and consumer spending. Small blue diamond 4. Social cohesion and integration. One of Britain's greatest strengths has always been its diversity, a society built on immigrants, innovation, and multicultural cooperation. But the tone of recent policies has created fear and resentment among international residents. Migrants now feel unwelcome, temporary, and disposable. Social scientists warn that such policies erode trust between communities, replacing hope with hostility. Universities report rising cases of isolation among foreign students and professionals, while British citizens working with immigrants see increased staff turnover and communication barriers. Small blue diamond 5. Gender and equality concerns. The ban disproportionately affects women in migration systems. Many dependent spouses, especially mothers, were contributing members of the community, running small businesses or volunteering. Now, they're locked out of the workforce, unable to accompany their families, and treated as non-essential. This contradicts Britain's long-standing values of gender equality and family unity. Small blue diamond 6. Housing myth versus reality. A key government justification was to reduce pressure on housing. But analysts say this logic is flawed. Dependents make up less than 3% of total housing demand in the UK. The real issue lies in undersupply, not migration. Yet, immigrants have been made the scapegoat for a domestic housing crisis that predates them. The economic math simply doesn't add up. Britain's decision may reduce numbers on paper, but it risks losing billions in growth, damaging social harmony, and undermining its international reputation as an inclusive, progressive nation. Global reactions and comparisons. The 2025 UK dependent visa ban sparked worldwide debate, with reactions ranging from criticism to strategic opportunity. Let's explore how other nations responded, and what they learned from the UK's decision. Small blue diamond 1. Canada. Come with your family. Almost immediately after the UK ban announcement, Canada launched a new campaign: Study, Work, and Live Together. Canadian immigration authorities relaxed their spousal open work permit rules for postgraduate students and essential workers. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a strategic move to attract those discouraged by the UK's restrictions. And it worked. Between January and July 2025, student applications from South Asia to Canada increased by 28%, with many citing the UK policy as a deciding factor. Canada understood one thing clearly: talent moves where families are welcome. Australia, balanced but competitive Australia, long considered a rival to the UK in education migration, took a more moderate stance. It tightened financial proof requirements but kept dependent rights intact for master's and PhD students. Government statements emphasise that family unity is part of integration. As a result, Australia's education sector remained stable, while British universities face enrollment crises. Small Blue Diamond 3. The United States, selective but strategic. While the US remains strict in some visa categories, it continues to allow F2 dependents under the student visa system. They can't work, but they can live together, study, and access limited local services. This consistency means the US hasn't faced the same emotional backlash as the UK, even though its immigration system is famously complex. Small Blue Diamond 4. European reactions across Europe. Nations like Germany, France, and the Netherlands expressed surprise at the UK's family separation move. Several EU policymakers even used the issue as a talking point, arguing that Britain's loss will be Europe's gain. Indeed, Germany's new Blue Card reforms, 2025, specifically emphasize family inclusion to attract global professionals fleeing the UK system. Small Blue Diamond 5. Global media and public opinion. The story of families separated by the UK's new law became international headlines. Major outlets, BBC, Al Jazeera, The Guardian, and CNN, ran human interest stories featuring spouses and children left behind. Hashtags like hashtag UK Visa Ban 2025 and hashtag Families Separated trended across social media platforms for weeks. The UK, once viewed as a leader in global education and fair immigration, suddenly looked cold, restrictive, and disconnected from modern human values. While the UK closed its doors, the rest of the world opened theirs wider. In the competition for global talent, compassion has become a powerful policy tool, and right now, the UK is losing that race. As the UK steps deeper into 2025 with the new dependent visa ban in place, experts, economists, and migration researchers are already trying to predict what the next 5 years could look like, both for migrants and for the United Kingdom itself. This is not just a policy update, it's a social turning point. The decisions made in 2025 will echo for decades, shaping who chooses to come to Britain, who leaves, and how the UK competes on the global stage. Let's explore this in detail. In the short term, we'll see a drop in student and skilled worker applications. University admissions offices across the country are already reporting 25 to 40% fewer inquiries from South Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, regions that previously contributed the largest share of foreign students. Migration agencies in Pakistan, India, and Nigeria are shifting focus toward Canada, Australia, and Germany, where family-friendly policies are being openly marketed. For skilled workers already in the UK, many will not renew their sponsorship after their current visa ends. Healthcare staff shortages, already severe, may reach critical levels, especially in rural NHS hospitals. This initial phase will be one of uncertainty, paperwork delays, and emotional exhaustion for thousands of migrants who had planned long-term UK futures. 2. Medium-term impact, 2026 to 2028 brain drain and image crisis. By 2026 to 2028, Britain could face a reputation collapse in the international education market. Universities like Manchester, Sheffield, and Cardiff, which depend heavily on international students, might face financial losses large enough to cut staff or programs. Meanwhile, highly educated workers who once saw the UK as a dream destination will begin to prefer Canada, Ireland, or the EU. A global brain drain will emerge, not from developing countries, but from the UK itself, as talent migrates elsewhere. Additionally, the British brand, historically seen as a symbol of fairness, quality, and opportunity, risks being replaced with words like restrictive, unwelcoming, and isolated. Socially, communities that once thrived on diversity, multicultural neighbourhoods, student hubs, and innovation centres, will lose their international spark. Ironically, as the UK faces these setbacks, public and political pressure may build to reconsider or reverse parts of the ban. History shows that when restrictive immigration laws harm the economy, governments eventually soften their stance. Experts predict that by 2028 to 2029, Britain could quietly reopen dependent pathways, at least for postgraduate students in research-heavy fields, health and education workers, professionals earning over a certain salary threshold. By then, the damage will be visible. Unfilled job positions, declining university enrollment, and economic stagnation in regions that relied on foreign investment. So, While 2025 marks a low point for migration freedom, the pendulum may swing back as the UK realises that skilled families, not solo workers, are the foundation of a sustainable, loyal workforce. Globe with Meridians 4. The future of global migration trends outside the UK. This policy will accelerate a global redistribution of talent. Countries like Canada will emerge as the #1 choice for family-based migration. Australia will strengthen its education pipeline with flexible work-study programs. Germany and France will attract more Asian tech professionals with simplified visa systems. The competition for international talent is fierce, and the UK's self-imposed barriers may push it to the sidelines of that global race. The world will not wait for Britain to change. It will move forward without it. Chart with Downward Trend 5. Predictions Summary Timeframe Key Outcomes 2025 to 2026 Chaos. Visa confusion. Declining applications 2026 to 2028 Economic slowdown. Labour shortages. Image crisis 2028 to 2030 Gradual pressure for policy reform beyond 2030 Possible restoration of family-friendly immigration routes. The final outcome will depend on how fast the UK listens to its workers, students, and industries that keep the nation running. Final guidance and closing message. Now that we've explored the facts, figures, and future, let's talk directly to you, the viewer, the migrant, the student, the worker, the parent dreaming of a better life. This part of the video should feel personal, motivational, and sincere, like a host speaking straight to the heart. Speech Balloon 1. A message to students. If you're a student planning to study in the UK after October 2025, research deeply before making any decision. Check your visa options, university policies, and dependent rules carefully. Ask your university's international office. Can dependents join later under special circumstances? Are there scholarships or housing options for single students? What are post-study work opportunities under the new graduate route? Remember, education abroad is not just about the degree. It's about your quality of life, mental peace, and family connection. If those factors matter to you, and they should, compare other countries too. Canada, Australia, and Germany all have more supportive environments for international families right now. Woman #Briefcase 2. A message to skilled workers. For skilled professionals already in the UK, doctors, engineers, teachers, and caregivers, you are the backbone of Britain's essential sectors. If you feel abandoned by this new policy, know that you are not alone. Thousands of others share your pain, and advocacy groups are already lobbying Parliament to restore dependent rights. You have every right to demand a system that values your contribution, not just your labour. Continue raising your voice through petitions, social platforms, and legal migration groups. If the UK continues to tighten restrictions, explore alternatives. Your skills are in demand globally, in Canada, New Zealand, Ireland, Germany, and the Gulf states. You deserve a place where your family and career can thrive together. 3. Guidance for families separated by policy. If you are currently separated from your spouse or children due to the ban, hold on to hope and stay informed. Legal experts predict that within 2 to 3 years, policy reversals or exemptions may reopen routes for healthcare workers and postgraduate families. Stay in touch with your dependents daily. Keep all documents updated for a possible reapplication. Connect with community networks and migrant support groups for emotional and legal assistance. Remember, you are not forgotten. Your stories are being heard by journalists, advocates, and human rights organisations across the globe. A message to the UK government and citizens. Migration has never been charity. It's a partnership. Foreign workers, students, and families bring billions to the UK economy and strengthen the social fabric with culture, talent, and humanity. Policies that divide families weaken that partnership. Reform must not come at the cost of compassion. A truly global Britain cannot exist without global families. Final words and call to action as we reach the end of this documentary. One truth stands clear. 2025 will test the UK's values like never before. Will it remain a nation that welcomes talent and diversity, or will it close its doors to the very people who helped build it? That answer depends on all of us, on awareness, discussion, and the courage to demand fairness. If you found this documentary informative, share it. If you believe families should not be torn apart, speak up. Loudspeaker, and don't forget to subscribe for more honest updates on immigration, education, and international policy changes. Your support helps this platform reach more people who need the truth behind the headlines. Together, let's keep the conversation alive. For every migrant who dreams, every student who studies, and every family that still hopes for reunion. Focus message to students: research alternatives and prepare wisely to work as advocate and explore new destinations to families stay strong and informed to UK government rethink, reform, and restore compassion. Subscribe, share, and raise awareness.